I think it's very important working in that nonprofit world to learn to say thank you too many times rather than not enough times.
When you get a big gift from someone, and you know what, let's not even limit it to a big gift, because I think sometimes when someone gives $500, if that person is a single mother on welfare, and you'll think that they don't give $500, but you'd be very surprised. Sometimes it's the poorest people in the community who are giving the biggest percentage of what they have. In fact, that's almost always the case, I bet. But so when you get a gift that is significant to the donor, you have to thank them. And I know that sounds stupid. Everybody knows that, right? Every fundraiser knows thank you, thank you, thank you. But you really do need to thank them, and you need to thank them in a way that feels meaningful to them. And in a small organization, if you only have 200 donors, you can afford to thank every one of them in a very personal way, and you should be. You should be thanking them as personally as you can, and if it's picking up the phone, you should do that if you can. If it's writing them a handwritten note, you should do that. Now, in a bigger environment where you're getting $5,000 $25 gifts in the mail because you're at a university and they've just done their annual fund mailing, you can't call every donor, and you probably don't need to. But in a university setting, a gift of $10,000 requires more interaction. And you need to know your donor enough to know how they want to be communicated with. Sometimes people don't want to be called. Sometimes they really just want to be emailed. You just need to know that. Your job as a fundraiser is to get to know your donors enough to know that when you're dealing with someone who's made a significant contribution, how are they going to want to be thanked? What's going to be meaningful to them? I just had a donor make a gift to support a fly fishing collection, and I went out and I got note cards with little trout flies, and I didn't try to pretend that I actually owned those. In my note I said, I just had to get these. They made me think of you, and it seems so appropriate, and you've just given us such a wonderful collection. Thank you so much. And I hope that when he opens that up, it will feel more personal to him than even if I had just written, typed up a letter on letterhead and sent it off. So I think the more personal you can be with your thanks, the more loyal people are going to feel, and the more of a personal connection they're going to feel with you and with your organization.
How do I go about saying thank you? Very simply, just say it, and say it often. Give recognition to people for doing little tiny jobs, and that way you get response. Everybody is important. Everybody's important. If people give anything of themselves, they certainly are entitled to recognition. It's very, very important to say thank you. It can be said in a little gift. It can be just said in words. People work for more than money in this world. People want to feel good about what they do. And if they're doing something good, there should be recognition. You can't say thank you too many times.
We did a thankathon this year, January and February. We had every single donor. We didn't make it through every single donor, but I think we made about 75%. We called them, whether they gave us $5, whether they gave us $5,000. We called them and said, thank you. And the response we get from some people was, you can't just be calling me to say thank you. It's like, yeah, that's all we're doing. We're calling to say thank you. You know, every dollar counts, and Wolf Haven is supported on individuals. So we just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate your donation, and thank you very much. Do you have any questions while we have you on the phone? And some people chatted for hours, and some of them were just kind of like, no, okay, thanks. You know, they were so shocked that we had one person actually say, what, you're not going to ask me for a donation? And the volunteer that we had doing it said, oh, no, I'm not asking for a donation, but if you'd like to give one, I could hand you over to somebody who would take your donation, or you can go online, you know, and she, rolled with it. But yeah, several people were quite shocked and amazed that we were just calling to say thank you. But at a time of the year when normally our giving has been very low, we have continued to see money come in. And you know, there is no scientific way to say there's direct correlation between us calling to say thank you and not asking for money and that money coming in. But that's not what has happened in the last 25 years. Usually at this time of year, hardly a penny is coming through the door. So we're testing in our own way to see how things work. And that our reason for thanking people was legitimately to say thank you. If we happen to get some money from that, that is great. But that was not the reason we were calling. The reason we were calling was just to let people know that we appreciate it. And it's part of my grand scheme on getting people into that major donor category. To start calling them sometimes just to let them know what's going on, just to say thank you. So they start investing more in Wolfhaven, not just investing from their pocket, but investing from their heart, so that when we do come to them and say, we need to raise X number of dollars, that they are going to be more inclined. And that might seem a little mercenary, but in the end, everybody wins. They feel good because we're calling and saying thank you to them, and in the end, the wolves are being fed, so that's a good thing.